Hey, how do you become good at rhythm very rapidly? If I told you a way in which you could develop at 10 times the rate when it comes to rhythm skills, would you listen to me? Well, here it is in this video. But before I give it to you, let's just talk about how most people learn rhythm. Because we learn songs in the beginning, right? And so we learn strumming rhythms. And then we start playing solos. Then we learn licks. And both songs and licks has rhythms built into them. So we very often don't practice it specifically. And the big mistake is when we start learning one rhythm over here and then another song with a totally unrelated rhythm over here, or one lick with one rhythm and certain challenges. And because we're not really focused on it, the rhythm part, we kind of fake our way through most of it. And we learn unrelated things. And learning unrelated entities takes at least 10 times it does if you take one thing and then develop it. Then you will develop from the inside out. Just imagine everything you have to learn when it comes to rhythm. And rhythm is 50% of playing music. And when you master rhythm, everything becomes easier. Just imagine everything you have to learn as a big circle within rhythms. And there's a bunch of rhythms everywhere in that circle. So instead of, picking one thing here and then totally unrelated, it feels like starting over every time you do a new rhythm. Then you take one rhythm and then you develop it. You learn it to the point of mastery. And mastery, and let's define mastery, it's when it's effortless. It's when you can play that rhythm, you can talk to your friends as you do it, or you can, start focusing on the music and the other guys when you play in a band instead of focusing on just producing the rhythm. That's mastery, effortlessness, okay? So you take that one simple rhythm all the way up and you practice it, you play it over and over again, you tap it when you go through your day, and then what happens is that rhythms that look like that or that are similar to that in some way, they become really easy to learn, wouldn't you agree? So if you have one rhythm that goes like a rhythm like right, would be fairly easy to learn because it has some of the same elements, and that's the magic of mastery. Just imagine that everything you have to learn is a line now. And you take one of these things and you lift them up to mastery, just one. Well, everything else goes up as well, but the things that are closest to it, that look like it, will also go up, meaning that it's really easy to learn the rhythm just right next to it, and on the other side too. And then once you have learned these two rhythms that look like it first, the rhythms next to those will be even easier to learn. And that's how mastery is an explosion of skill instead of this and that and there. And I'm confused now. How many rhythms are there really, right? And you never really develop the skill of being able to improvise a rhythm. Like, say, you're playing with the guys and there's one guy who has an idea for a song and you just, right, you start suddenly you can start improvising because you have that mastery and you develop explosively. It's slow in the beginning because you have to take one thing all the way to the top instead of learning one thing at a mediocre level, right? And then another one at a mediocre level. And mediocre is good, right? I hate good because good doesn't enable you to do anything other than just be you copy the rhythm of somebody else. It's when you take good, that's when it starts. That's when you should practice the most, right? And bring it all the way up to effortless mastery. Because that's when the things right next to it becomes super easy to play. If you take something to good, then the things that look like are going to be hard to learn because you don't master the first thing. It's not effortless. That's how it works, right? So let's apply this principle to learning rhythms, and you can do this with anything. In my upcoming program, I'm going to give you these power rhythms, which is, I'm going to give you one now, which is simply rhythms that are clustered, rhythms that look alike and that are complementary, that are little like power licks, basically. It's the same philosophy, but you take one and then you combine it with other rhythms that work really well together, and that will give you this exponential effect. And but we're going to do one now. And you can use this principle yourself. You don't need me to do it. But say you learn a rhythm, a very fundamental, very useful rhythm like triplets, like playing 3 notes with an accent on the first. And you do it with... So you're basically using alternate picking on one string, and you accent by picking a little harder and pushing the string towards the fretboard to produce a note. And the other notes are just muted strokes, right? So we go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And that's it. That's the rhythm, right? You can use that in rhythm. Right? Or in single note playing. Right? Or... It's useful everywhere. So, and you learn that, you practice it, you go around all day, and you practice it when you're in front of the TV to the point of absolute effortlessness, where you can talk as you do it, or at least watch a movie or something, lightly entertaining. Okay, so now you have mastery over that. Then let's practice something that is complementary to that really works well with it, and that, uses some of the same challenges, so it's really easy to learn. And you could say, okay, let's play only the downstrokes. Let's combine that. And just playing the downstrokes, putting an emphasis or accent on all of them and then muting the upstrokes is really easy compared to doing the... Right? Because you have down, up, 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 right? Can be quite a challenge. But let's play only the downstrokes. And please follow along here. Pick up your guitar, do this. Only downstrokes and muted upstrokes. Right? Let me do the upstrokes. Right? And then the next discipline is combining them. Play one bar of each and see if you can do that. So you go ba da 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 da, 1, 2, 3, up 2, 3, down 2, 3, up 2, 3. See if you can do only downstrokes now. And then go back to the 1, 2, 3, up 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, up 2, 3, down 2, 3. Let's go for the upstrokes. You have your pick moving here. It's not that hard, just don't stop moving and do the upstrokes now. Then go back to the triplets. Right? Back and forth. Triplets. Downstrokes. Upstrokes. Triplets. And if you don't know what am I going to do now, just keep the movement going, right? And when you do this, and you just sit, meditate, okay, downstrokes, upstrokes, da 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 da, ba 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 ba, and downstrokes, and you combine them closer and closer, so you play, a smaller and smaller entity of each. Then suddenly, voila, you have something that you can really use to play music. And since the triplets was much harder than playing both the down and up strokes, then you'll quickly learn all 3. And if you master the first. and the next thing you do is that you try to improvise. If you spend enough time combining them closer and closer, then pretty soon that will happen automatically. You gain the skill of doing it. Right? And when you play rhythm, right? It works in the most amazing way, but you have to push all the way to mastery in all of this. And then this little freaking bundle of just 3 simple rhythms is suddenly the Lego building blocks of something enormous, which is a skill that you can use to solo with. Suddenly you can have fun just using two notes in a solo because you have that under control, right? Or you can start improvising actual rhythms when somebody has an idea for a song, or, it's just amazing. Once you have the first It doesn't end there, because once you have the first little bundle, the first little power rhythm down to the point of mastery, then you learn another one. But don't go, to the east, 100 kilometers to the east. Go here and see if you can create another bundle that looks a little bit like the first. Because then afterwards, when you have two power rhythms going, you can combine them, right? And so you cluster everything, like germs when they become more and more. 2 becomes 4, becomes 8, becomes 16, becomes 32. And it's not a lot in the beginning, but suddenly it explodes from 128 to 256 to 500 and whatever, and then to thousands and millions, right? It's slow in the beginning because you're aiming for mastery. You have that vision of going farther than most people. And so your actions right now will reflect that, right? And so the guy next to you is learning song after song, and he does it all good, right? And you're sitting there, right? And so he looks at you and says, why aren't you learning real music? But you're building the skills, and you have that explosive growth. So a year goes by, or 6 months, and suddenly you go, right? And he goes, how do you do that? How do you just sit down and play rhythms? How do you play 10 different rhythms in like 30 seconds, right? Just from the top of your head. That's the magic of it, really. So he says, oh, you must be talented, right? And just, if you're a good friend, you'll correct his disbelief in himself and his belief in you, instead of going, yes, I guess I am talented. No, you're not. You're just doing intelligent stuff and getting intelligent results, right? So I just want the whole world to stop spreading that myth of talent, and then looking for the actual strategies that people use, either consciously or unconsciously, that makes them progress much faster than other people. So think in clusters all the time. Think in power rhythms, right? And then go check out my new program if you have a couple of seconds. I look forward to seeing you in the next free video tomorrow.